Hello guys, and welcome to part 5 in choosing your university of step 2. I'm kind of making this pretty long, but it's because in the end this is probably what matters the most, choosing the correct university to apply to. I had a lot of issues with doing that. I ended up wasting money sending my ACT scores to universities I ended up not even applying to. But what you're going to see next, admissions rate and admissions criteria, that is basically what will make or break your chances of getting into university. So admissions rates. Whenever you look up a university online, um, for example, I looked up University of Texas at Austin. It will typically tell you their acceptance rate. So UT accepts 39% of people who apply to their school. What this means is if 50,000 people apply to their school, they accepted 39% of those. The more people apply to a school, and the less it really depends on how many people apply to that school. That's kind of how Ivy Leagues, for example, Harvard and Stanford and Princeton, they manage to keep their acceptance rates really high because the more people apply and the more they reject, the higher their acceptance rate is. And so a lot of people say like, oh, Harvard's acceptance rate is going down. It's really not. It's just more people are applying, and it's only accepting the same amount of people it always accepts. So it looks like their acceptance rate is going down, but it's not. It's just more people are applying, therefore the more people they're rejecting because they're still taking the same amount of people they've always taken. So you kind of understand that about universities. But if you look here, they also have the acceptance rates of Texas A&M, Rice University, and Baylor. I wouldn't say that you should really look at acceptance rates that critically, but they will be a big decider on whether or not you get into the university. I don't know why, but I ended up applying to a university called Tulane University, and their acceptance rate was 30% versus Colgate University, whose acceptance rate was 28%, 28.7%. And I was like, well, if I get into Colgate, then I get into Tulane as well. But Tulane ended up rejecting me and Colgate didn't. So it really is very subjective to the college people who are doing admissions in those universities. Another thing that they talk about is, or I just kind of wanted to show you too, like if you look up in the US News rankings, the best colleges, you can kind of see the acceptance rates of different universities. So Princeton is so far is now named the #1 university in the United States. It goes by some sort of score, and they take into consideration a lot of different things like campus academics and everything. But you can see have 7% acceptance rate, which is higher than Harvard's, but it's all really depending on things. Most of these pages, they also have the average scores that people score in that. Also pay attention to the times, the dates to apply to, because it's very important. But for example, I'm trying to find the page that I found. Yeah, so some universities, there's some web pages that they kind of tell you this is the old ACT. They haven't updated this probably, but it's basically telling you that the average ACT score for a person that goes to that school is 32 to 35. Now, that is important because it talks about your ability to get into that school, but it's not essentially the only thing that matters. Because based on what my school, Colgate University, accepts, I am nowhere on the average. Their average is probably 30 to 30, I don't know, 30, 35 or something like that. Actually, it's right here. Let me see. So it says the average is 30 to 33. I scored a 29, so I'm not even in the average. For their SAT, their new SAT was pretty high too. It was 1300s. I didn't even score 1300. So it matters, yeah, but it's not the only thing that matters. Your essays also matter. The extracurriculars you've been involved in also matter. So you should look into this stuff, but also consider you have a chance. But if your ACT score was a 20 and the average is this, you probably won't get into that university. And it's a harsh reality of life. You can still try, but it's probably not going to happen. It didn't happen for me, for Notre Dame, and all these other schools. but